the Factor, much of the world was shocked after seeing the HBO documentary, Leaving Neverland, in which two men describe alleged abuse at the hands of Michael Jackson. This despite both previously testifying that the singer had never abused them. Wade Robson and James Safechuck claim that was because they felt pressure to defend Jackson. Jackson's estate is suing HBO for more than $100 million. Meantime, a man named Brett Barnes is looking to sue the broadcast giant for insinuating that his relationship with the late icon crossed over to sexual abuse. Several radio stations in Canada and New Zealand have reportedly stopped playing Jackson's music. Now, here to discuss this with us here on the Factor Uncensored is the current president and CEO of Amazing 102.5 and former regional promotions manager for CBS Epic Records, Emilion White, along with TC Tompkins, who also worked for Epic and CBS Records and knew Michael Jackson, and actor, director, and dancer Shawn Welling, who has hosted Wade Robson at his home several times and considers him a friend. We're glad to have you guys here on the Factor Uncensored. And of course, we have photos of you guys when you worked for CBS Epic Records, meeting Michael Jackson. First of all, tell us, how was that relationship? How did you guys come to know him?
I met him first in '77 when they were first signed to Epic Records, and did a first project with Gamble and Huff called Going Places, and worked with him on all 5 of his projects with Epic, you know, all the way up to Off the Wall and Thriller. I was vice president of Epic at that time, so I spent quite a bit of time back. Emilion and I both back and forth at his home, and with Quincy Jones during the process of developing the project, was on tour with him several times. My daughters and my family met with him, used to have contact with him, you know, continuously. Great person to work with, genius individual, just a real kind soul.
But Emilion, when you hear people make the allegations that he was behind closed doors a monster to children, your thoughts on that?
Well, the fact is right now is, you know, to convict a person when he's dead is like, okay, you know, he's not here to defend himself, so what can you say? But, you know, my thoughts are, you know, I knew Michael as a different person. You know, so I never knew Michael like that, or that side of Michael. He's a regular guy. He was chasing girls.
Yeah, we knew him to do that.
He was the big girl chaser. So, you know, for those allegations to come out of, you know, so wow. You know, but, you know, I can't condemn him, or I can't condone the situation because I don't know. You know, so.
But, you know, the thing that makes it really impossible for me to believe is that there were several investigations of Michael. I mean, he had to even take pictures of his genitals. The FBI investigated him. The Los Angeles County investigated him. There was like a 10-year process of where they continuously accused him of this thing. And I mean, never came up with anything. Even the suit that he did settle, the father admitted later that it was about the money.
Let's bring Shawn Welling in, who is friends with Wade Robson, one of the accusers.
Right.
Tell us what you know about this situation and what Wade shared with you.
Well, initially Wade came down to teach and start my studio. And he's an incredible choreographer, performer. His heart was of gold. He came down, he told me about many different things in the dance community and shared it with my students. He told me, without a doubt, nothing ever happened between him and Michael. This is in closed doors. Michael was absolutely fantastic. Didn't ask him, he shared that with me. Everything Wade did was from a pure heart. Now that's the person then, and here's the person now. Now to me, I want to be clear as a filmmaker, this is an insult. This isn't a documentary. It's a horror film. And the monster is the director. I understand what you can do in front of a camera when you put people there and coach them. When you get great lighting and great sound. It seems and appears to be real. So right now what I'm dealing with is so many dancers that are heartbroken who followed Michael Jackson's every move. And I taught over the years in many universities this style and this craft. And now these kids that have spent 7, 8, 9 years following this icon of dance and music, they're going, what happened to my life? It crumbles beneath them.
We're going to finish this conversation when we come back in just a moment. We'll be back. We'll discuss Leaving Neverland here on the Factor Uncensored. We leave you now with DJ Sneak, who's in the mix. And welcome back to the Factor Uncensored. We're talking about the documentary Leaving Neverland on HBO. And of course, you're looking at an IRAA plaque that was given to Emilion White by CBS Records, and him working with Michael Jackson and knowing Michael Jackson from several years. We want to start this conversation again. Go back to Shawn Welling here, Anthony. Shawn, were you surprised when you heard Wade Robson, one of the accusers, now say, after testifying and after saying repeatedly Michael Jackson never did him anything, now he's saying he was victimized? Were you surprised when you saw his appearance on that documentary and heard his story change?
I had communications with him before.
And just so you know, he stayed here with you in your Houston home, so you know him personally. Well,
yeah. First I went to LA, I signed a contract with him, then he came to my dance studio, taught several times, and then performed in a theater show that I created. So with following, and it was also my first film. What my main concern, Isaiah, is that the victims that exist out there on this type of horrific crime have got to be looked at with credibility. And so when I go back to 2005, okay, you're going to tell the truth under oath and tell the truth. And that's what Wade did, because he was an honest person. What's happened now is totally different. This is not integrity of this nature that we need for people who are victims. And that's what it comes down to. These kids need to have a legitimate response in the community. So I think you pointed out very, very clearly that in the end, we got a $1.5 billion suit.
Yeah.
Right.
There's the motive. Where's the motive for Michael?
Right.
To lose his career that he's worked so hard for?
Yeah, he's tried this suit a couple of times too, and this is the second attempt at them, and it's been dismissed before.
And the bottom line, he's broke.
Yeah.
Right.
This is from his nervous breakdown that he had.
Right, exactly.
In 2013, he had applied to become the Cirque du Soleil choreographer. The estate had rejected that.
Exactly.
Even though Cirque said we want him. And at that point, I think he's thinking, look, I really stood up for Michael, which he did. I was there for him.
Just to be clear to the viewers, when you say Cirque du Soleil, you're talking about the Michael Jackson
That's
Cirque
correct.
du Soleil.
Yes.
Absolutely.
He
One in Vegas.
He was rejected by the family or the estate.
Yeah, Cirque du Soleil hired him, but it was the estate that said, no, we have somebody else that we think is a better choreographer.
Okay.
So probably internally what I'm thinking is Wade's going, look, I was there for Michael Jackson all along, and now I need to make a living, and you're not taking me as a choreographer. When he is a valid choreographer, he's extremely good. So at that point, there's a turn, and he says, well, my friend's in the grave. It probably won't hurt him. This is my opinion. He's saying, okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to file a suit for $1.5 billion. Then Safechuck, a couple days later, says, you know what, I'm on this train. And he switches his opinion. When he also very credibly said nothing happened and signed a document saying nothing happened.
We are seeing some fallout already, some radio stations in Canada and New Zealand dropping Michael Jackson's music. Are they, in this era of #MeToo, reacting too soon?
I believe they are really acting too soon. I mean, just like my man said, the documentary is really not a documentary because there's only a one-sided approach to the film. There's no one to speak for Michael in the documentary, and they offer no new evidence and no new proof of any of this. These are just accusations by
old accusations.
Yeah, old accusations that they're coming up with.
Do we take a look at Oprah saying she may be giving it the boost that, or the credibility that it would not ordinarily have?
I think Oprah came out a little bit too soon. Right.
I agree.
And it boils down to money. The family is worth, Jackson family is worth gazillions of dollars, and so, this is opportunity to cash in on that. I'll settle for something. Just let me go away. Right.
Yeah, that's what it seems
That's
like.
what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I think I'm to Mother Teresa. And Michael's going to survive this. Let's get clear. And this is going to hurt Oprah. And I love Oprah.
I really do believe it's going to hurt her.
It's either a political move for, may I say, presidency or something that she's going to move towards. There's some other motive for her. And what she attempted to do was say, look, I'm going to use this as a platform to talk about this abuse, when in essence she's validating abuse that didn't happen.
Absolutely.
And when you sell over 100 million records, 100 million records, somebody's going to have their hand out. You become a target for something or by somebody.
You have thousands of kids you're involved with. 5 have come forward, all of them with the price tag attached to that, all 5.
Right.
Have you talked to Wade since all of this has occurred, or?
I communicated with him before and said, Wade, look, you're too good, which he is. You're an incredible choreographer. Be known for you as a dancer. You're one of the greatest. Move forward with that positive energy. This negative stuff's going to pull you back. And I told him back and forth, this is not the right path for you.
All right. We want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming on The Factor and sharing your experience.
The world, and more personally, my life forever. He's the reason I dance, the reason I make music, and one of the main reasons I believe in the pure goodness of humankind. That's Wade Robson talking about his friend Michael Jackson shortly after he deceased. My name's Shawn Welling. I'm founder of Planet Funk Academy. I'm here to talk about the recent allegations made against Michael Jackson, brought up by the new documentary Leaving Neverland. In 2007, Wade Robson came down here to share his craft, to teach and inspire my students, and he did that wonderfully. He also sat right here in this room, right here, and told me very clearly that nothing inappropriate has ever happened between him and Michael Jackson, and in fact, nothing inappropriate has ever happened, in his opinion, between Michael or any other person, specifically kids. Now, I'd like to believe, in fact, I do believe, that Wade Robson is a fine and decent person back then. If this documentary has any truth to it, it would lead to believe my friend back then is willing to go on trial under oath and shame a victim. It would tell me that my friend was willing to go on trial under oath and let a monster go free by lying and saying that nothing inappropriate has ever happened between him and Michael. And that's not Wade Robson. He's a good person. He stood by his friend. He stood by Michael Jackson till his death. He did what any good friend would do. He told the truth, and those are Wade's words. But I want to be clear on something. This documentary is hurting and confusing the dance community, and it is not the truth. Next time you are out there listening to Michael Jackson music or doing his choreography, question whether you should do the choreography. Don't question it. Look in the mirror and realize the facts are very clear. Are you ready to judge somebody after he's been acquitted on 10 counts and the FBI has investigated for 10 years? Are you ready to judge somebody, throw him out into the courtyard and say, off with your head, to hang him, to go and find his grave and pull him out and beat him? This whole thing is a sham. It's a scandal for money. I think it's important the dance community realizes that Michael Jackson is still the greatest inspiration for us. I wish the best for my friend Wade, and I hope things get turned around and he understands that really what life's about is love, peace, courage, and the opportunity to move forward in life. I hope the dance community understands that Michael Jackson is and always will be a great human being, because that clearly is the truth.
Whatever responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it.
Members of the NAACP have been jailed and even killed in the noble pursuit of those ideals upon which our country was founded. None of these goals is more meaningful for me at this time in my life than the notion that everyone is presumed to be innocent. Everyone is presumed to be innocent and totally innocent until they are charged with a crime and then convicted by a jury of their peers.
Division, the people of the state of California plaintiff versus Michael Joe Jackson defendant, case number 1133603, count 1, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of conspiracy as charged in count 1 of the indictment, dated June 13th, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 2, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in count 2 of the indictment, dated June 13, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 3, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in count 3 of the indictment, dated June 13, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 4, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of lewd act upon a minor child as charged in count 4 of the indictment, dated June 10, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 5, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in count 5 of the indictment, dated June 10, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 6, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of attempting to commit a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in count 6 of the indictment, dated June 13, 2005, foreperson number 80.
There are only
Count
the
7,
counts
verdict.
now
We,
remaining
the jury, in the above
concerning the
entitled
alcohol.
case, find the defendant not guilty of administering an intoxicating agent to assist in the commission of a felony as charged in count 7 of the indictment, dated June 13, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 7, verdict, lesser offense. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of providing alcoholic beverages to persons under the age of 21, a lesser included offense of that charge in count 7 of the indictment, dated June 13, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 8, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of administering an intoxicating agent to assist in the commission of a felony as charged in count 8 of the indictment, dated June 13, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 8, verdict, lesser offense. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of providing alcoholic beverages to persons under the age of 21, a lesser included offense that charged in count 8 of the indictment, dated June 13, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 9, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of administering an intoxicating agent to assist in the commission of a felony as charged in count 9 of the indictment, dated June 10, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 9, verdict, lesser offense. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of providing alcoholic beverages to persons under the age of 21, a lesser included offense of that charge in count 9 of the indictment, dated June 10, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 10, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of administering an intoxicating agent to assist in the commission of a felony as charged in count 10 of the indictment, dated June 10, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 10, verdict, lesser offense. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of providing alcoholic beverages to persons under the age of 21, a lesser included offense of that charge in count 10 of the indictment, dated June 10, 2005, foreperson number 80.